That's all there is to it.
It will not be a waste of your time.
It's better when the audio is turned on. It's the best when the audio is turned on. And that's why we normally have a producer. Our producer's not here today, so we're running everything from the studio. And
do we need to start over?
No, this is live. We don't get the chance to start over.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody just gets to see that.
Just go back in the days of
rewind.
Of doing a live. I don't know what it's called, a live spot, a live bit.
Yeah. Or the remotes.
Remotes. That's what I was thinking of. Did things tend to go wrong at remotes more than anything?
Not terribly often, but sometimes they would.
They do for us.
Yeah, I remember. So we tried one remote show, and we did it. So we're doing the same thing we've got here. We've got a live stream on the internet. We got our camera set up. Everything's going well until one of the guys behind the counter at the comic book store that we were at kicked out the DSL cable and completely shut down the internet to the whole store. So then immediately our phones start getting buzzed. Well, they call their boss, tell their boss that we're the ones that shut down the internet when he's the one that kicked out the cables. So now we're dealing with everybody talking about the Hanyaks who are over in the back trying to do a live broadcast, shut down the internet. They got a line of customers that are all upset even though they're there to see us because they can't make their purchases of their Spider-Man comics. And Skateboard Man is over in the corner just throwing a fit because he's trying to sell Pokemon cards. And about 45 minutes later, we came up, and not only did we get everything rolling, but we had a 45-second audio delay that we didn't know about. And so as we're talking, nothing happens, and we looked like we were in a Japanese movie from the 1930s. It was fantastic.
That sounds like sheer chaos of the highest order.
It was pretty terrible. It was pretty terrible.
Well, we should start with intros.
Yeah.
Since we did not do them yet.
Yeah, go ahead.
Officially.
What do you want to intro?
You did a great job.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
We have Mike Rhyner.
We've got Mike Rhyner.
Today's episode.
Yes.
Yep.
The helm of
I got Lucas.
My Dark
I
Companion.
got Dan.
Yes, the host of My Dark Companion, which is on a temporary hiatus, but I'm sure we'll hear more about that soon, or more from there soon.
I hope.
Yeah.
That's too bad. I mean, because you had a really good run going there.
I did. We had a really good. We built up a little momentum. The number of hits we were getting every week was starting to rise pretty rapidly. And the neat thing about it is I never got told no.
When you asked?
Yeah, when I asked somebody to be on it. And there were some that I thought, surely they won't have any interest in doing this.
Yeah.
But I would have, fool that I am, I'd ask them anyway. And nobody ever told me no. Everybody said, yeah, hell yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like, were you expecting to get a no from, like, Troy Aikman?
Yeah, I was.
Really?
As a matter of fact.
What? Troy's a fan of yours, though.
Yeah, I know. And maybe I'm shortchanging him or me or somebody in all this, but I thought surely he would be above my little pissant podcast. But no, he was very gracious about it and very game to do it.
Yeah, he was interesting as well.
Oh,
I enjoyed a lot of that stuff.
I mean, I've learned a few things about him I didn't know.
Like what? What did you learn about Troy Aikman that you didn't already know?
Things about, what it was like when he was, coming up in Oklahoma and everything and growing up, and just stuff about that. Some things that I hadn't seen in any articles or anything like that.
What possibly happens in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Probably not much good for Mike.
That's that old, what's that old joke? You know why Texas doesn't fall into the ocean?
Yeah.
It's because Oklahoma sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's holding us up.
Yeah, it is. It's keeping us in from out of the Gulf. So I'm curious. You talked about Troy Aikman. Is there any chance? For the last 2 years, I've been almost completely disengaged from sports. I never missed a game until the pandemic. And then I had so many other things to focus on that I was missing, couldn't keep up with anything. I watched the Stars Stanley Cup run, which was very sad. And we talked to Shoopy about that, how he ran the sound for the World Series because it was in Arlington, but then he was, far away for the Stars and didn't get to do anything for them. The Cowboys are on a run right now, and I think we would be remiss not to have you on the show and to talk a little bit of sports. Are you tired of hearing people talk about how the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl this year?
Well, I don't know if I'm really tired of it because I'm not in the game anymore and I don't have to put up with it the way I once did.
Ugh.
But they're within they're very well within reason to. This team is a legitimate Super Bowl contender, as legitimate as anybody, and it could happen.
They haven't won a playoff game since my wife was
Lucas.
born.
I know, Lucas, but this team is better than any of those others that have, look kind of like they might have the right stuff.
Well, what about the 13-3 team? We were saying the same thing about them, and we lost with Romo. We had that amazing comeback against the Bills, and then the divisional round. Just we can't get past. We haven't gotten past the divisional round since I've been in grade school.
Once you get into the tournament, then anything can happen. Then,
Well, why does nothing good happen for the Cowboys in the tournament?
That's just the way it goes. That's tournament football, man.
Is this the Jimmy Johnson curse?
It's a curse.
Could be. All you can realistically hope for, I'm talking to you and I'm talking to them as well, all you Cowboy fans can realistically hope for, just get into the tournament and then take your chances. And maybe, just maybe, it'll work out for you.
How many more wins do we need to get into the tournament?
I don't think you need a whole lot more, but you need to, as Jimmy used to tell us, you need to be streaking when you get into the tournament.
So that means they shouldn't put Cooper Rush Red Ball version 2 back on the field?
No. Unless you were so convinced and so worried about, somebody getting injured or something like that, that you just can't imagine the thought of them playing in a meaningless game. Keep your guys out there. Keep them sharp. Keep them motivated. Keep them into it. And streak into the playoffs. That's what Jimmy used to talk about. The closer they got to the playoffs, that's when he wanted them playing the best football they'd played all year. And I think there's a whole lot to. Now, I'm a Jimmy acolyte of the highest order.
No doubt.
But I think there's a whole lot to that.
Who do you miss more, Jimmy Johnson or Ken Hitchcock?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
I knew Hitch better. Than Jimmy. If Hitch were around here and I were to run into him right now, I'm sure he would remember me.
Yeah, no doubt.
Jimmy had no idea who I was because when Jimmy was here, the ticket was just starting.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, we were just getting underway and everything, and we were the last thing on his mind. Besides, he was a Randy Galloway acolyte.
Ugh. Randy Galloway was the worst thing that happened in my childhood. No, just absolutely no
you
doubt.
had a house fire.
Yeah, my house burning down was a joy compared to listening to Galloway. I could not stand Randy Galloway when I was a kid, and it had nothing to do. I've read his articles since then. I've heard him since then. Galloway was a brilliant journalist. I won't, try to argue that at all. But when I was 5 years old, sitting in the back seat of my dad's Toyota, the last thing that I wanted to hear was Randy Galloway's voice come on the radio. Oh, Hammer, blah, blah, blah. I hated it. It was a complete and utter power down for me. I wanted to listen to the classic rock stations or whatever. And so when you guys came on the radio, and the first time that I heard y'all and the Bottle Rockets and all of these guys that were on in the early days of the ticket, I was so happy to not hear Randy Galloway that you became the voices of my childhood. Like, why was Jimmy so obsessed with Galloway? Why was he a Galloway acolyte?
Well, because at that time, Galloway was the biggest guy in the market.
Unbelievable.
I mean, Galloway was he had a column for the Morning News and the Star Telegram.
Right.
That everybody read. And his sports talk show was the biggest one we had here in town.
It was bigger than Norm's?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
See, the other thing that I have, my other issue with Galloway, is that his voice is so ingrained in my head that I read everything in his voice. Like when you send me text messages, because I've heard your voice so much, I read them in your voice. When you sent me a message today and you're
Everybody
like,
says that.
Lucas, are we good for this? I read it in your voice. Well, anytime I read one of Galloway's columns and reading some of the old stuff that he wrote about the Cowboys, I hear it in his voice and it just makes me want to throw the paper across the room.
Can you do a passage of scripture
In Randy
with
Galloway's
Randy Galloway?
voice?
Something out of Acts.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing for you to surprise the congregation with this week.
Just start reading in Randy Galloway's voice. Okay, everybody, John 3:16. Turn your Bibles. It would be terrible. I would lose the whole congregation. 5 people would come back. We would we would have a 95% attrition rate from just one scripture reading in Galloway's voice.
Well, I love the idea.
Well, it's better
I like
than
the idea too.
well, you know what?
This needs to happen.
There's no
And
way
you-
that
you
this
would-
can
you'd
happen.
Have 95% attrition rate.
Absolutely, I would. I for certain
Dan,
would.
tell him his
You would
flock
not.
loves him.
They would love it.
There's no way that they would. If I did it in Mike's voice, we would get people that would
No.
come. If I did it in Hanson's voice, we would have protesters. And if I did it in Galloway's voice, half of them would leave.
If you did it in Rush Limbaugh's, you'd add more people to it.
If I did Rush Limbaugh's voice, they'd start throwing Oxycontin at me. Which I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but there we
Why?
go. I don't know. Who
Oh.
cares?
Podcast. Say
Yeah.
whatever you want.
That's true. That's the wonderful
I
thing
mean,
about
isn't that
podcasts.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's better than XM radio because we can say whatever we. How did we get off on this? Because you brought up Randy Galloway. This
Yeah.
is your fault.
Yeah, it's my fault.
Well,
Everything's my fault.
It was a great journey.
Yeah,
I
it
truly
was a great
enjoyed it.
segue.
Yeah.
Mine was Rush Limbaugh. That's why I bring it up. Yours was Randy Galloway. Mine was Rush. All I
see,
wanted
my
to do was
parents didn't
listen to
listen to
Patsy
Rush.
Cline. And then made me listen to Rush Limbaugh.
I'm crazy
Yeah.
for listening to Limbaugh. So, talk to us about petty theft. What's petty theft doing these days?
Petty theft is just trucking on. We're gigging away.
This Friday at Grandscapes, right?
Yes, Friday night at Grandscape. We're coming off gig in Terlingua at the Chili Cook-Off.
I've never
Yeah,
been.
they still
I've
have
never
those?
been to
Yeah.
the
That's
Chili.
been going on for a long time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I know about
Yeah,
that
but
from
every year.
Chili's.
Yeah, we worked at Chili's.
Yeah, and they had the posters of the Terlingua.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
and you could
Terlingua
get the
burger. They had all kinds of stuff.
the Chili's famous Terlingua chili,
yeah.
right? So what's the chili festival like? Talk to us
It's-
about Chili's.
It's a pretty big deal. They have places around where there's competing chili cooks, and they're cooking and everything, and they have judges and stuff like that. And I think there's a situation where out of each group or gang of 4 or however many they have, they will take the winner and move them on, kind of create a little bit of a tournament there.
Okay.
But the thing we were down there for is they have this big bash commemorating the whole thing on Friday night at the Chili Cook-Off every year. And this is the second time we've done it, and we played there. It's on Friday and Saturday night both.
Okay.
It's their way of working music into the thing.
And you said that's coming up, or that just happened?
That just happened.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm seeing on Google.
You're Googling
Where is
this.
this going to?
You're fact-checking Mike. He's sitting right
No,
next
no,
to us.
No, I was looking for supporting information.
Oh, okay.
And then I went,
You
"Where's
could
this?
just ask, and you did.
Yeah. Where's this going?" It's already happened.
Yeah. So,
Next year.
did you guest judge for them? Are you a chili eater?
More or less.
Yeah?
How do you eat your chili?
I need Fritos or
Okay.
chips.
Right.
Something like that. I generally like it. I know this makes me sound like a real chili pagan, but I generally like paste picante in there
No, that's not bad.
because my mom got me hooked on that at a very early age, and now I can't have it without it.
Isn't that from New York City?
yeah.
That was from what, the 90s?
Those commercials.
New York City.
So that's how I roll with it.
Cheese,
Yeah, I'll do a little cheese in there.
onions.
No,
All right. Do beans belong in chili?
no.
Ooh, this is-
There
No,
we go.
no, no.
Absolutely
I
not.
think it does.
Absolutely. It's something else then.
Which I love
It's
your.
not chili. It's something else.
I love
Yeah,
the.
it's
This makes
stew.
me a chili pagan.
It does. It does.
Probably.
When you put beans in chili,
well,
now it's
well, then my favorite version of hot dogs is stew hot dogs.
yeah, it's stew.
That's fine. It's delicious.
It's disgusting.
Chili with beans, cheese, onions on top of a hot dog with mustard. Best version.
Okay.
With
Right.
mustard?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have mustard on a hot dog.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That
Come
makes
on.
sense. Okay. All right.
Come on, first Philemon.
Philemon. There's not a first Philemon. It's a one-chapter book. Speaking of pagan.
Yeah.
My goodness. All right. So chili doesn't need to have beans in it, but we got cheese, a little bit of onions,
If you want.
if you
I'm
want,
not an onion guy.
and then Fritos.
Yeah. Or chips of some kind.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So what other kind of chips would you put in? I wouldn't put it. Crackers?
No, not crackers.
See, they always give me those oyster. Like when I go to Roadhouse,
Yeah.
they give you
I'm
that
with
little
Mike.
package of oyster crackers with it. Never
gotta be
never understood
Fritos.
crackers and chili.
Yeah, I mean, I've known some people who did them that way, but I prefer Fritos or chips or something like that.
What other kind of chips would you put in there other than Fritos?
Just any old kind.
Like Ruffles,
No, not Ruffles.
Cheetos?
No, I'm talking like,
No.
Mexican chips.
Oh, like tortilla
Tortilla
chips.
Yeah, tortilla chips.
All right, good. I'm glad we clarified that
Yeah.
because
Yeah, shout out to the Mexican, by the way.
Yeah, tortilla chips have there's a wide variety
Yeah,
and
there
a small.
and I'm very, very picky.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
There's a wide variety, but a very small amount of success.
Yes.
Yeah, like the Tostitos are good. The ones with lime on them, though, the tortilla chips with lime, that ruins a tortilla
There
chip.
was a Mexican place, a Tex-Mex place in Coppell that I went to try,
Uh-huh.
and they brought the chips out on the table, and I got up and walked out.
I've done that.
Because I knew this was not going to end well.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Yeah.
You know, who's got the best chips in DFW?
I really am partial to Olay's in Coppell.
Olays and Coppell.
love-
But that's like a one-off, right? That's the only one? Yeah?
It's the only one.
It's a little local eatery. That's something that the broads that do
Oh, it's so
podcasts
good.
really like is local eateries.
Local eateries.
Yes.
All right, Mike, best chips in DFW.
I think for the most part, most of them get the chip thing fairly right.
Yeah. Was it the salsa then that you're more picky about?
Yeah, I'm definitely picky about that.
So who's got the best salsa in the area?
Herrera's is good.
He's like, I don't care
Ooh.
about this.
Were you not a Herrera's guy?
I like Herrera's. Herrera's is all right.
Yeah.
I'm partial to El Phoenix just across the board.
El Phoenix is good too.
El Phoenix's stuff really
That's old
really
school
hits the spot.
Tex-Mex.
Yeah,
That is,
it
that
is. It is. They used to have this dish called a crepe Faustina, which was they'd make a burrito, but instead of doing it with a regular tortilla, they would make a crepe, and they would make that would be what they wrapped up the burrito in, and it was absolutely delicious. But they don't do it anymore. There's one cook, if you can find one in the downtown El Phoenix. There's one cook that does it, and if he's not working, they won't put it on the menu. And if he is working, instead of charging you $10, they'll charge you $15 for it. But it's worth every penny. That's it's my go-to for Mexican food is that El Phoenix. What are you laughing at?
I don't know, just a really obscure fact about
Hey,
El
it's
Phoenix.
the one thing. It's my go-to at that place. Now the only one that does it anymore is the one in downtown.
Well, there was a time when El Phoenix and El Chico were really about the only Mex places in town.
That's true.
You know?
But Chico's is like almost gone now.
Yeah, it is. And boy, it was a big deal when you got a trip to El Phoenix or El Chico. Things had gone very well for you then.
Yeah, it was a good month.
Yeah.
It was.
Daddy hit his
Yeah.
quotas.
You're cashing
did
your
well this
commission
month.
checks.
We
Well,
thought we wouldn't have anything to talk about.
no, I knew we'd
talk
find
about
stuff to
chips
talk
and
about.
salsa.
Well, we've covered the gambit: chips and salsa, the Dallas Cowboys, chili, Ken
Most-
Hitchcock versus Jimmy Johnson,
Most importantly, Grandscapes.
Grandscapes.
Which is-
6 o'clock downbeat this Friday night.
Yes,
Which
6
is in
o'clock
the
downbeat
colony.
Friday night.
Yep,
Grandscape.
Grandscapes in the colony. Get your coffee, get your pizzas, and get you a spot on the lawn to watch
Ooh, there's
Mike
a,
Rhyner.
I haven't actually
There
been
is.
to Grandscapes.
Yeah, it's a
There's
great
there's
venue.
A lawn spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great venue.
It's a very early
I-
downbeat.
I need a place to sit. I don't think I'm alone in this.
Well, bring a lawn chair. You can bring a lawn chair and stick
No,
it
no,
out
no,
there.
I know. I'm just saying, if I go somewhere, am I going to be sitting or do I have to be standing?
No, you can sit.
If I can sit,
Yeah,
I'm in.
I don't know. I generally prefer to stand.
I hate
Same.
it. I can't wait to sit down.
Yeah, if I'm going to a music show like at the House of Blues or somewhere like that,
yeah.
where there are a lot of people generally standing anyway, I will get as close as I care to the stage and just stand.
So you don't want to shell out the extra 15 for the
No.
upper tier
No,
seating.
no, no,
No.
no, no.
Yeah. See, I
I want to be close to it,
want to
man.
go sit down.
Yeah. Or you can get this a little bit of spittle off this harmony singers. You know, whenever
Harmony?
when they're doing the vocals. That's just the right place. Who would you pay to go see right now?
Who would I pay to go see?
Yeah.
Well, I just got through paying to go see Jackson Browne and James Taylor
Ooh.
and Boz Scaggs and Eric Clapton in recent weeks.
Were they all together?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's 3 shows.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Boz
Jackson
Skaggs
and-
was his own
Jackson
show.
and James were
We're together. Yeah, and Boz
But
and then
Boz and Eric Clapton were their own thing.
wow,
Yeah.
Clapton's pretty good.
What do you think about Greta Van Fleet? Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
What do you think about them?
It's an interesting Zeppelin knockoff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's I don't know. I really don't think of them as much more than that, but it's not terrible by any
Yeah.
means. But it's very clear what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And very
He sounds
clear,
just like Robert Plant. And
very clear what they're going after. And I did know a guy who was playing with them for a while.
really.
Yeah, not a member of the band, but a keyboard player that they used to hire and take out with them. I knew him for a while. But yeah, I liked them. Liked them. Did you go see them when they were here recently?
No, I would like to see him. I do like them, but I agree. I'm kind of formulating. I need to see a couple more albums.
It feels like I've already
see if
heard
they
it.
Grow.
That's the
wanna
thing
see
with
if they
Greta
grow.
Van Fleet. I really dig the music, but it feels like I've already heard it.
Yeah.
And so I can listen to the album about twice through, and I'm like, that's it.
If you like Zeppelin, you're gonna like Greta.
And speaking of that's it, thank you guys for joining the Reverend and the Reprobate live at 5 at 4:30 with the Old Gray Wolf, Mike Rhyner. Tune in this Thursday to see our episode with the voice of Bulma from Dragon Ball Z. Tiffany Vollmer will be on this week. And you guys have good and get give, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
All right.
Sweet.
All right. That was relatively painless.
Yeah.
Yeah.